I'm going to be at the front of the line for the entire duration. So if there is an issue and I'm not able to hear the person in the back, please relay any information all the way up to the front just so I'm aware of any issues if they happen to still occur. We're going to be parking right along this curve.
Okay.
Welcome to your first stop of the tour. This is our port stop of the tour. Now, Savannah, we have been a port city. From the 1700s up until today, we have always been a port city. In fact, we make more of our money right here off of our port more than any other industry we get into our town. So, for example, we also make the G-Series jets here in Savannah. That's those jets all the rich people fly around with up in the sky. Doesn't even come close to the money we make off of our port. We also get over 10 million tourists a year, such as yourselves, and that doesn't even scratch the surface on our port's economy. Today, we are America's largest export port and third largest import port. For import ports, you have Los Angeles at number 1, San Francisco at number 2, and Savannah at number 3, third largest import city in the country.
Wow.
And again, no other port exports more than we do here downtown.
That's hard to believe.
It is very hard to believe. A lot of people find that hard to believe because our city does a beautiful job by keeping the industrial part of the port separate from the quaint downtown you guys are currently enjoying. So that's why it's surprising.
Oh, we did see a bunch of cranes over there on the other side of the bridge.
Industrial part of the port. Yeah, that's what makes our port so massive. Now, because we are such a large port, that means we tend to get these huge ships that come sailing right here through our harbor portion of the port. If you have not seen these ships already, you are going to want to see these ships. They are awesome sights. We get Pacific-sized ships here. That means they are taller, longer, wider, etc. than Atlantic-sized ships. And again, these are incredible sights to witness. Now, I'm going to recommend the spot for you guys to check out these ships. If you go down there, that is our Savannah riverfront. If you go down to the river and make a left, you're going to go west. I recommend you guys go all the way west along our river. If you do that, you will come across our newest district called the Plant Riverside District. Brand new district just built last year. If you go to this district, I recommend you go to a bar they've built there called the Electric Moon Bar. This bar will take you to the rooftop of that district, and you will see how tall these ships can get when you are standing on the rooftop looking up at the ships as they pass on by. They are awesome sights. You're gonna want to check them out while you are here. Now, I brought you guys here to talk about how we began as a port, not so much the modern port today. So, like I said, from the 1700s, specifically up until the 1850s, we were an export port exporting king cotton. If you guys look down there, you might need to take a few steps forward. You will see there's a parking lot. A couple cars are parked in that lot right now. Obviously, when that was built, that was not intended to be used for any types of cars or automobiles. That's actually the site of our original loading dock. From the 1700s up until the 1850s, ships from all around the world would come right there to our port to load up with cotton. Now, of course, it makes such a good parking lot today because of how flat it was when it was initially constructed to be that loading dock. Now, if you look here to your left, you're going to see this ramp. We have 6 of these ramps carved into our bluff. And again, these ramps were not created for trucks, trolleys, or automobiles. These ramps were created for the laborers here at the port. The laborers could roll down barrels of cotton just using gravity alone, making it easily accessible to bring it right over there to that loading dock. Now you'll notice about this ramp is all of this cobblestone. This cobblestone that actually spreads all along our entire Savannah riverfront. Now, a fact about these stones, they are actually illegal to remove any one of those stones. These stones are irreplaceable. They do not come from Savannah, so again, it's illegal to remove them. The reason we have them here is because during that cotton exchange, like I said, ships would come here from all around the world. If a ship was coming to Savannah and it weighed too little and it came upon a storm in the middle of the ocean, it would capsize. So to prevent that, these ships took ballast stones from whatever ports of call they were traveling from. That way they could maintain buoyancy getting near to Savannah. Then, once they arrived, they wanted to load up with as much cotton as they could from our port. So allowing them to do that, they had to unload their stones here in our port so they could fill up their own ships with cotton before setting sail. And then of course, that gave us that opportunity to use those stones and spread it all along our riverfront to where they remain today. All of these stones are over 150 years old, and most of them are going to be from Liverpool, because at the time, Liverpool was our main trading sister city. Now, during that time period before the Civil War, Georgia was a slave state. However, the labor here at the port was not slave labor. That is significant because Savannah is the only city attached to a slave state at the time that chose not to use slave labor at our port, but instead we offered paid labor. So for example, you had Charleston, Norfolk, New Orleans, Jacksonville. All of those were slave states and they used slave labor at their port. Savannah, again, being the only city in the South that chose not to do that, but instead offering paid labor. Because of that decision, you now have Atlanta. Atlanta, which is a uniquely large southern city. There's actually no other city in the South as big as Atlanta today. And that's because after the Civil War, slavery was abolished. Every southern slave state that used slave labor at their port had to shut down operation, except Savannah. Savannah choosing paid labor, we remained operational even after the Civil War. Then Atlanta, being the closest big city to an operational port, got to keep growing and growing into the giant city that Atlanta currently is today. So that's why Atlanta is so uniquely large for a southern city, because it had an operational port attached to it during that Reconstruction period of the South after the Civil War. All right, that's enough now about our port stop. We're gonna hop back onto our bikes, biking onwards towards the next stop.
So was that choice not to use slave labor at the ports, was that religious related to, there's a lot of Catholics here, isn't there?
There is. We have a lot of Catholics, but because of that decision, it attracted the Irish to work at our port.
I see.
Anyway, but yeah, so it wasn't that actually the decision was a religious base, but they already started using the port with manual paid labor, and because they were so successfully financially, they kept that decision. Like, even when we got slavery in, because there was slavery here. But they were like, no, we're already making money as it is, we're going to keep it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's because of that we have so much Irish today. Alright, we're going to be parking right here at this side.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent. All right. So for this stop, pardon me, I'm going to be talking all about this establishment directly behind me, this old pink house. Now, this old pink house was built in 1770 using stucco on top of brick. Now, today we paint over it. However, due to those two materials melding together back in the 1770s, they persistently produced an off-brandish pink color for this building, therefore giving this establishment the title, the Old Pink House, and that's why it has been called so ever since then. Now, if you guys notice the front of this pink house, you will see that that stucco is scored. That means there are lines running through it. And that's because in the 1770s, stone was the wealthy man's building material at the time. Well, Mr. Habersham, who built this initial residence, was not wealthy enough to afford stone. So instead, he thought, I can fake it. And that's exactly what he tried doing by scoring the stucco to make it look as though it was built out of stone.
Oh.
Now, of course, we've caught on today. However, the current owner still scores that stucco in a tribute to Mr. Habersham and how he thought he could fool everyone in Savannah at the time. Now, to this day, no other building downtown has had more impact on our architecture more than this pink house. And that's because it was built in 1770. Well, by 1790, Savannah had a massive fire, and everything in the downtown historic district burns to the ground, except this old pink house. Then again, 30 years later, 1820, Savannah has another massive fire, and again, everything in the historic district burns to the ground, except this pink house. So in 1820, the mayor, who was not having a very good year at the time, came in front of this establishment and he said, why? Why did every other building around this perish except this building alone? He finally came to a conclusion. Conclusion being that this was a masonry-based building when everything else around it at the time was built out of wood. So when he came to that conclusion, he went back to his office and he signed an order. An order that states until firefighting advances enough, there is to be no more wood construction in our downtown historic district. Now, this order did not get appealed for 70 years until 1890. So that 70 years, the reconstruction of the historic district is all modeled off of this surviving pink house. Had this pink house burned in either one of those fires, the mayor would have never come to that conclusion. He would have never signed that order. And as a result, today, the entire historic district you currently see around you would look vastly different. And today, all of these are now modeled off of the surviving pink house. Pardon me. Now today, this pink house sits as a restaurant. So I will tell you guys about our cuisine here. Our cuisine here we have is called low country cuisine. When I say low country, I'm talking about the land from Charleston, just along the coast, to the north tip of Jacksonville. That is considered low country, literally meaning country that is low. So for example, if you guys go down to our riverfront that I pointed out at the last stop, that is gonna be standing at sea level. Right now, you guys are currently 40 feet above sea level. In fact, you guys are currently standing at the highest elevation right now in the entire low country. So from Charleston to Jacksonville, this is our highest peak. You guys can say you just biked Savannah's biggest mountain, because you did. The rest of the tour is literally all downhill from this spot right here. Now, first thing about our cuisine is that it's going to be rice-based. That's because the original plantations here were not cotton, were not tobacco, they were rice. Rice grew so well here, mainly in South Carolina, that it made South Carolina the wealthiest colony, not state, but colony at the time. Now the second, we are along the coast. So we are gonna have seafood. It is gonna be primarily shellfish type seafood. There's gonna be one thing I recommend you do not go for here in the low country, and that's only because I am extremely biased. I am originally from Maryland, so I am very, very particular about my crabs. Yes, crab cakes, Maryland blue crab, all of it. If you've had Maryland, there we go. If you've had Maryland blue crab, do not have any crab here in the low country. You are gonna be extremely disappointed, I guarantee you that. If you've never had it, knock your socks off. You have nothing to compare it to. But take it from me, steer clear of the crabs here. I will, however, suggest the mussels and the oysters. They are cooked very well here, especially in a low country boil. Now the third thing, and the most important thing about our food, we are here in the South. So there's a Southern influence to our cuisine. That means that nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to be vegan. Very little will be vegetarian. If you order vegetables here in the low country, you should be ready for those vegetables to come with little bits of bacon sprinkled on top. If you order a biscuit, you should be ready for that biscuit to have been prepared with lard and not shortening. That is the Southern influence to our food. If you guys came here to eat healthy, you came to the wrong part of the country. We do not do healthy eating here. However, we do everything deep fried, so it is just gonna taste that much better. Right? It's a great thing. That's why I do my bike tours. It complements with all that unhealthy eating I do. Now, if I've made you guys hungry and you are not vegan, the only place that I put my name to as having the best authentic low country cuisine is going to be this old pink house. To this day, this is Savannah's most popular restaurant. If you have not made a reservation already, you are not going to get one. They book about 2 months in advance. However, you can still dine here trying their authentic low country cuisine without having a reservation. You guys see this archway in the front of the pink house? Right below that archway is a stairwell. That stairwell will bring you down to their cellar. That is a bar area. It is first come, first serve. They open that up at about 5 o'clock every night. Now, if you guys have come here specifically to try our cuisine, you may as well go the entire distance by dining at the best restaurant we have to offer that cuisine. And on top of that, you're gonna be pairing exceptional food with a building that has impacted our history since the 1770s. You will feel the 1700s as soon as you walk through these doors. So this is gonna be my top recommendation as far as low country cuisine goes. You guys should definitely check out the Pink House while you are here. All right, from here, hopping back onto our bikes, biking onwards towards our next stop. go to Chive, Chive has hands down best seafood. It's on Broad Street. It's a really good seafood restaurant.
Chive? C-H-I-V?
C-H-I-V-E, yeah.
Where are we heading to next?
To the church.
The church.
Yeah.
The cathedral.
Nope, not that one.
Nope, not that one?
Nope. Different church.
Okay. It's right there though.
Not a 3 blocks that way.
Yeah.
We're going this way.
Oh, we're going this way. Okay. That's the birthplace of Juliet Lowe.
I have a whole stop sign.
She started the Girl Scouts? Cool.
I saw you guys there.
Oh. Okay, so you'll give us the lowdown.
I will. We're going to be turning to the right here.
Okay, after the church.
This way, yeah?
Yep.
Parking in these parking spots. Alright, parking right here. Now, I brought you guys here to tell you absolutely nothing about this church, but instead, to show you this church's steeple. If you look up there, that is the most important church steeple in all of Savannah. That's because there is a legislation written back in the 1700s that states you are not allowed to build any building taller than your tallest church steeple. And that is it. That is our tallest church steeple. This is the tallest building in Savannah. No building can ever exceed the height of that steeple alone. Now, for a city that can absolutely afford to put up skyscrapers, we never will because of that ruling. That is a beautiful thing I love about this city, and it was made over a decision over 200 years ago. On top of this, we also happen to have a plethora of rooftop bars here in Savannah, constantly getting built every single year, because their views will never be obstructed. Another great thing to come out of that ordinance made back in the 1700s. Now, if that wasn't enough for this steeple then had to go and get famous. So, can you guys tell me a movie you may have seen this church steeple featured in? Any guesses? Picture a feather floating around it.
Forrest Gump.
There it is, Forrest Gump, yes. Opening scene of Forrest Gump.
Oh, okay.
Feather floats around that church steeple, landing right over there in Chippewa Square on that bench that Forrest famously sat on. Now, there's a reason I bring you to the steeple and not to the bench. That's because when production wrapped, they had no idea how big this movie was going to turn out to be. So in doing so, they actually removed that bench and they put it in Savannah's History Museum to where it remains today. In place of that bench, there is now a flower bed right over there in Chippewa Square. So that's why I show you the existing steeple as opposed to awkwardly standing in a flower bed that used to be where the bench once sat. Now, this also means if you guys have any downtime here in Savannah, and if you want to thoroughly entertain yourselves just for a good 10 minutes out of your day, I recommend you go over to Chippewa Square and do some people watching. If you do, I guarantee you are going to see people driving around that square 6 and 7 times looking for Forrest Gump's bench, because for some reason Google Maps says the bench is there. But again, today it is just a flower bed. Also, on top of that, there are 12 identical benches today in Chippewa Square, none of which were ever in that movie. They don't even look like the bench in that movie, but you will still see people walk from bench to bench with their phones out trying to figure out which is the bench, but it is none of them today, just a flower bed. Now, on this topic of film and television, there are more film and TV shows being filmed today in Georgia more than any other US state, including California. So, like how Hollywood had their golden age back in the 30s and 40s, that is currently happening today in Georgia. Savannah alone, we make roughly $5 million a month put into our economy just from the film and TV industry. I meet folks regularly that have moved here to pursue careers as actors because of the lucrative opportunities they are now receiving here in Georgia. I myself, by no stretch am I an aspiring actor. However, I'm a local, and a beautiful thing that happens when these productions come to film downtown, they reach out to locals to be extras in their movies. So I've gotten to be an extra on a couple productions that were filmed right here in the city. One of my favorite movies I worked on, a movie called Devotion. We filmed it here last winter. It's probably gonna come out August about this year. It is gonna be an awesome movie. It is a big budget Korean war film. It's got Joe Jonas, Glenn Powell, Jonathan Majors in it, a lot of big names attached to this movie. If you happen to see this movie, you will see, pardon me, that they turned our entire Savannah riverfront into the French Riviera for that movie. And in the scene with the French Riviera, in the back of that shot, you are gonna see a drunken sailor, and that is yours truly. Getting my 5 seconds of fame, yes.
All right.
Yes. It was a great production to work on. Besides that, though, I got to dance with Bette Midler in a movie called The Glorious. I got to meet John Travolta and Gerard Butler both last year working on production with them. Actually, the movie I did with Gerard Butler, the trailer I thought it was going to be a terrible movie because how we filmed it, it's like Taken, but like a really off-branded version of Taken. I didn't think it was going to finish production, but I just saw the trailer the other day, and you can actually see my backside in the trailer. I'm a paramedic, and I'm picking up a dead body, and you can just see my butt, but I made it in the trailer, and that's enough for me. So if you see that trailer, you can see my butt the very first second.
A butt actor.
Yes, butt actor. That movie's called Last Seen Alive. Last Seen Alive, yeah. But anyway, other than that, some movies you guys also may have heard of that were filmed right here in Savannah. Ant-Man and the Wasp, filmed right here in Savannah. Lady and the Tramp, the newest live-action remake. That one was filmed all throughout our city. If you see that movie, you will see the entire city of Savannah. Gemini Man with Will Smith. Terrible movie, but filmed right here in Savannah. If you guys are fans of SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Woo!
Okay, I usually don't get that reaction. All right, I'll take it. Well, the newest SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. They filmed that movie directly in front of our bike shop. You can actually see our bike shop in that movie if you catch that movie. Other than that, if you guys are scary movie fans, we just finished wrapping Halloween Ends, the third Halloween movie of the trilogy. Jamie Lee Curtis herself was just here for the last 2 months with her dog. She is a phenomenal human being. I got to meet her and her dog. There's not enough good things I can say about her. She's just an extraordinary human being. The end of this year, we are going to be filming the reboot of the original Exorcist movie. They're rebooting the first Exorcist movie, filming that here at the end of this year.
Okay,
other than that, the 2 big productions about to come here are going to be Disney and Marvel. Disney is coming here for the next 6 months. They have yet to release what they're filming, but they've asked for ghostly extras, so I'm assuming it could be a Haunted Mansion type kind of movie. Marvel, however, did release what they're filming, and they're going to be filming Black Panther 2 here this year. That's going to be an awesome project into town. I'm going to try to work on that movie if I can. Super excited for that one to come into town. But like I said, we are constantly filming more and more every single month. In fact, in the year 2021, a third of all TV shows and movies filmed in America were filmed right here in Georgia. We are the #1 state for filming, getting more so than any other states combined. Now this means, over the next 5 years, I challenge you guys, scroll through any credit scene. I know nobody watches the credits, myself included, but fast forward through the credit scene because I guarantee you will now see a peach at the end of every single credit scene. That means it was filmed right here in the Peach State, and like I said, we film far more than any other state. So 9 out of 10 times, I guarantee you guys will now forever be seeing a peach at the end of the TV and credit, or TV and film, anything you watch like that. All right, from here, we are gonna hop back onto our bikes. We are gonna bike around Chippewa Square, ending at the theater on the east end of the square. Let's do it.
Super.
Now, another reason I brought you guys here. This actually happens to be my main job here in the city of Savannah. I'm the choreographer of this theater, so I love bringing people here, talking all about our shows. If you want to check out some live entertainment, we are running 2 shows this week. As you can see, we have a show tonight called Savannah Live. Tonight and Saturday night, Savannah Live is a review show. It's got about 6 singers in it. They're going to be singing songs all the way from Beatles to Bruno Mars and everything in between. Our other show we're running tomorrow night is called The Piano Men. It's got 3 world-renowned pianists, and they're playing all those good songs from Billy John. Elton John and Billy Joel, all of that kind of music. So if you guys are interested in live entertainment, check out some shows. You can even get a discount on some tickets. Go to the box office, drop my name, just say code Michael. They will give you guys a discount on any theater tickets if you want to see some shows this week. Now on top of this, we also happen to be the oldest functioning theater in America. We opened up our doors December 4th of 1818, and ever since then we have been putting on live entertainment. Now, like I mentioned at the Pink House, we did have some fires, especially the one in 1820, so it burned down a lot of this building. However, some of the original theater from 1818 is still part of this structure today, and it has always been a theater on this location since that time. Now, if you guys haven't heard already, Savannah happens to be an extremely haunted city, if not the most haunted city in America. This theater, over 200 years old, one of the most haunted buildings downtown. If you guys are fans of the paranormal and if you want a good scare, they offer a ghost tour inside this theater every night from 10:30 p.m. onwards. I have never, nor will I ever take this tour. I get creeped out enough when I'm on that stage. I've heard noises during my shows. I will never take this tour. But I have heard it is one of the best ghost tours downtown, and if you want to get the crap scared out of you, I guarantee you this tour will be the one to do it. It is called Paranormal Investigations. Make sure you check it out inside the theater. Now, as you see what these people are doing, this is also going to be a self-guided stop for our tour. I'm going to be sitting here so I can watch our bikes, but I'm going to bring you guys inside the theater. I'm going to open the auditorium. You are free to walk all around the theater, go up to the balcony if you want. We have a bunch of historical facts to read about the theater. And again, take your time. Once you guys are done walking through the theater, come meet me back out here, and we'll carry on with the tour. All right, let's do it.
Sons.
Yeah.
Infamous.
No way. It's
Kind of. Eventually we get to see that. I like this theater. People signed it. Let's see if there's any of them now.
I don't know if we were supposed to go over there, but that was cool.
I know.
Sure is dark in here. Guess sunglasses don't help. Stop poking me. Stop poking me. Did you poke me?
No.
That's a little spooky. So something funny happened to me on the way to Savannah. That's all I got. Well, there are stairs here.
Savannah was the first city of Georgia. Oglethorpe brought his colonists here first before discovering the rest of the colony. Now, the natives loved him so much that the leader of the natives, Tomachichi, is buried downtown in a square today because of the admiration and love he had for that man right there. It is thanks to Oglethorpe that we have our city of square system today. It is an urban city design that, to my knowledge, is not replicated anywhere else in modern America. And again, thanks to that man right there. Now, he was only here for 10 years. After that, he went back to England. But fortunately for us, when he left us the plans for the city. So he puts up the first 6 squares, and then after he left, as Savannah kept expanding, so did our city of squares. So today, we have 22 squares downtown. At one point, we got all the way up to 24 squares. However, a judge, who will not be named, decided he was above the law and he paved through 2 of the squares himself because they were blocking his courthouse. Stupid reason, stupid judge. We don't talk about it to this day. But we still have 22 squares to date, and I will absolutely take that because of how beautiful these squares make our city. Now, on top of that, Oglethorpe wanted Savannah specifically to be a safe haven. He wanted this city to be a city where everyone got along. Everyone here was going to be equal. They were just going to thrive. It was going to be like kumbaya. They were going to find peace, love, and happiness right here in Savannah. So with that in mind, we were originally a free state because of Oglethorpe. Like I said, he wanted no conflict here. He wanted everyone here just to get along. No second-class citizens, so we were originally a free state. It wasn't until he left that South Carolina then convinced Georgia to convert over to a slave state from there. But again, we were first free thanks to that man right there. Now, with that ideology, he may have been a little far-fetched at the time as well, because for the 10 years that he was here, he also banned lawyers from the entire city of Savannah. Ironically, it was illegal to practice the legal profession anywhere in Savannah. And that's because, in his mind, he thought lawyers need arguments and disagreements to get paid, so they're going to cause them just so they can make a profit. Like I said, this was gonna be like Kumbaya. He wanted no conflict in Savannah, so he's like, nope, screw that, banning lawyers from the entire city. I personally love that about him. He may have been a little far-fetched in that ideology at the time, but that's why he's so significant to us to this day, and that's why his statue remains here in Chippewa Square. All right, giving you guys some recommendations about the modern square. Starting with this corner shop right here, Gallery Espresso. That is going to be your best option for 2 reasons to get coffee downtown. The first, it is not a Starbucks. It is a locally owned coffee shop. We thrive off of our local business owners here in Savannah. Most of the restaurant shops and boutiques downtown you are going to find are all locally owned and operated. It's really hard to find any big corporations here downtown. Now your second reason, they have over 30 flavors of mocha, frappa, vanilla, latte, whatever kind of Cheeto you can think about blending, they can whip up for you right in Gallery. So if you need that coffee fix, make sure you stop here. Right next to Gallery, there's a little gray shop with a chocolate banner hanging out front of it. That is a chocolate shop called Chocolat by Adam Taroni. So if you guys have a sweet tooth, I guarantee you are gonna fall in love with his shop. He is an artesian chocolatier, considered to be one of the top 10 chocolatiers in North America, according to Southern Living. But still, it counts for something. I thought I was a fan of Reese's. I went into his shop one day. He does a sea salted milk chocolate peanut butter cup, blows Reese's out of the water. So if you guys have that sweet tooth, make sure you stop into his shop. I'm able to offer you guys a discount at his shop as well. Go in there, tell them you're with Savannah Bike Tours, and they will give you 15% discount on any chocolates you guys want to buy.
Too late. We already went there.
You already went?
Yeah.
Good.
So, but if you want like really good chocolate, take it from them. They already got it.
Yeah,
His shop is
Really
awesome.
good.
Just stumble on it or
I think I
We stopped for a coffee and then had some chocolate.
I was like,
That's the way to do it.
good with my coffee.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh, it's just wine shop. And I get to be his personal tester. For me, it's a great job. Whenever he makes stuff, I just get to go in, I get drunk, and then eat chocolate. It's fantastic. All right, one more recommendation. I got off track.
Okay.
One more recommendation
Yes.
before we head out. This restaurant over there, you can kind of see with the British flags above it. That is an authentic British pub, one of my favorite restaurants downtown, called Sixpence Pub. If you are looking for a casual dining experience that is not low country cuisine, that's going to be one of my best recommendations. They have great fish and chips, great shepherd's pie. I also have the palate of a 5-year-old, and I love grilled cheese. They have amazing grilled cheese they can whip up for you right there in Sixpence. On top of that, great beers on tap to choose from, and they are the only bar downtown that has ciders on draft. If you are a cider drinker like Strongbow or Megner's, only bar that offers that for you, so make sure you guys dine at Sixpence Pub. Yes.
Ask for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Ask for Mel. There you go. All right. So from here, next spot we're gonna bike to is a park. It is a park, not a square, so that means we are allowed to bike through it. Hopping on our bikes, going south.
And what's this place?
Artillery, really good old fashioned. If you like craft cocktails, really good cocktails.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Huh?
I said okay?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely best old fashioned I've had down there. Do a lot of haunted tours here. Old Sorrel Weed House, very haunted building.
Oh, that's haunted as well?
Yeah, they actually had to shut down tours because someone got scratched by a ghost over the summer. So they had to shut down tours for like a couple months.
Someone got scratched by a ghost.
Yeah.
Very scary.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like voodoo curses. It all goes back to this merchant who was Sorrel. He denied his Haitian heritage, so he was given a voodoo curse. And then after that, his wife committed suicide, and he slept with a slave. His family killed the slave, and then since then it's just been a haunted. People like see ghosts and stuff in that building.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna go through it right.
So what's the population of Savannah?
Roughly 150,000.
Okay. That's pretty big.
Like big enough so it's a good city, but small enough that it's not like too overcrowded.
Right. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's a
It's
really
amazing street. There's trees bending over the road.
Yeah, the South Magazine actually calls that the prettiest street in Georgia.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Do we ride down that street?
We don't because it's all brick, so it's not going to be a pleasant ride.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very bumpy. Alright, we're going here to the right, and we're going to let them go first.
These squares are really cool.
Yeah. It's a great design for us. And like they naturally calm traffic, so it's such a bike friendly too.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil?
Yes, we just watched it.
Oh, this is the house where it happened.
This house?
This house. Yep. The movie was even filmed in that house, so it's a very authentic movie.
Is that right?
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. That's where it took place. Yeah, oh, it's great. It's a great movie. I'll tell you that in 1 second.
So this is a park.
This is the park. Hold on. Alright, we're gonna stop right about here.
Okay.
Alright, just stay with your bike, this will be a quicker stop. Good. Alright, so welcome to Forsyth Park. In a minute, we are going to bike up to that fountain. Once we get there, I'm going to offer to take your guys' photos in front of the fountain, with or without your bikes, up to you. But before we do that, I wanted to give you some notes about our park. Starting with that giant white mansion we passed on the way in. Pardon me. That never used to be part of the tour, but I keep getting asked about it every day now. It's going to be officially part of the tour. That is actually a very easy response. That is a single family residence. They are rich, not famous. Simply the house of the Kesslers. That's it. Back to Forsyth Park. Now, this park was created in the 1840s on 10 acres of land. 1858, they then installed that fountain that remains our city's icon to this day. There are actually 3 fountains that all look alike. One sits here, one sits in Cuzco, Peru, and the third sits in Paris, France. Now, they selected that fountain out of a catalog back in 1858. I had no idea catalogs went that far back. Apparently they do, because that's how they chose that fountain. Just 1 year later, 1859, they then decided to expand our park 20 acres to the south. So today, Forsyth Park is a 30-acre park. That fountain sits in the center of the original 10 acres, not the center of the entire 30-acre park that Forsyth is today. Another thing that makes our park, even our city, more exceptionally beautiful, if you look up, you're gonna notice all of this glorious Spanish moss throughout our town. Now, Spanish moss is not actually Spanish, and it's not actually moss either. It was discovered in Florida when Spain occupied Florida at the time. But it originates here in the deep south, and that is where it will always remain. Another claim to fame for the moss: if you have ever sat in a Model T car before, you were sitting on top of Spanish moss. Henry Ford came across the moss himself, and when he did, he described it as free, accessible, packable, and free, using free twice, for the main reason being why he put that in his Model T cars. So again, if you sat in a Model T car, you were sitting on top of compressed Spanish moss. All right, we're now gonna bike up to that fountain, take some photos. Once you guys are good with the photos, we're gonna keep biking through the park. We're gonna keep biking.
What hours does the fountain operate?
24/7.
24/7?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it on. Do they have concerts here in the summer?
Yep. Yep, there's a stage over there. They put on free concerts.
Oh, the stage is over there.
Yeah. The Fragrant Garden? No, it's open to the public. They just close it at 2 every day. Alright, we're just going to go a little slowly just so they can catch up.
Okay.
Alright, we're going to do a quick stop just so they can catch up. Alright, all good? Alright, carry it on.
So what's the second best city tour after your bike tour here? Is that those jump on, jump off buses?
No.
Is that a
I
no?
don't recommend them. No. Because they pass by the stop and you only get like 30 seconds of the information.
Really?
I mean, it's a good way to like get from one end of the city to the other.
We're turning
so
here?
I'd prefer, yeah, I'd say the walking tours are much better.
Really?
Yeah, if you want to do a ghost tour, they have really good hearse tours where you get in a hearse and you go around town. That's a really cool tour. But yeah, I would say a walking pub crawl tour is actually going to be really fun.
The walking pub tour?
Yeah, the walking pub crawl tour
Okay.
is really fun. I mean, the last one I took, I don't remember since I got struck. But it was really fun.
So it must have been good.
It was. That's fine. It was good.
That's when you need the hearse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some they have it included with the bars. Most of the time, the bars they bring you to offer a discount for the tour. But that's the beauty of our city. You can walk around with drinks anywhere, so it's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love this city.
It's like New Orleans.
Like what?
New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so there's 4 cities. It's us, New Orleans, Key West, and Las Vegas. Us and Key West are the only cities you can do it in the whole district. Like New Orleans, you can only do it in French Quarters, and Vegas, you can only do it on the Strip.
Okay.
But for us in Key West, you can do it the whole district.
Wow. All right.
I live in, yeah. I was going to say I live in the Victorian district, but right, this is the Victorian district here. But my house was built in like 1900 or something like that. So I'm pretty sure it's haunted, but it's fine. I was like everywhere in Savannah is pretty much haunted. Oh yeah. Yeah, when they shut all the lights off and it's like pitch black, it's scary.
You're almost like, look at me all the time.
Alright, we got a bunch of cars we're waiting for. Unless any of them want to be really nice and stop. Alright, we're good to go. That's actually a temple. A lot of people don't know that.
It's a what?
A temple, Jewish temple.
Oh, yeah.
They use Gothic architecture, which is normal in churches. But the Jewish congregation uses it here as well for their temple.
There's some new construction.
Oh yeah. Starting at $2 million.
I bet. Yeah, I'm sure it's expensive here.
Yeah. Houses downtown starts at $2 million. Rent right here is really affordable. Like I mean I have a stupid great deal. My landlords are awesome people. So I rent a 3-bedroom house for $1,300.
Wow, that is really
Unheard
good.
of. And it's downtown and next to the park. So I'm not moving anytime soon. But yeah, your average
that's
rent
great.
is going to be like a 2-bedroom for $1,600. That's the average.
That's still not too bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all. It's very affordable to live. Yeah, oh yeah.
Look at that scene. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's why I love this city. Like, just biking to work, I'm like biking through a movie theater.
Now the houses are very boxy, but they're so ornate you don't even really notice.
Yeah.
And the Spanish moss just appears on its own.
Yep. Yeah,
It
travels
just
by the
shows
wind.
up.
Yeah, well, the wind carries the seeds of the moss, and then it grows from there.
Okay.
Yep, that's her childhood house. I have no idea. She's an author, I know that. I've never read her book, though. Like, when I heard about it, I was like, I have no idea who that is. But I guess she's a well-known author, because a lot of people ask about it. But again, I've never read her stuff. Alright, good to go.
These bikes are hard to ride. So a little New Orleans style on some of these here.
Something, yeah. Alright, for this stop, because we're going to go into a square, so we're going to hop off our bikes and then walk our bikes into the square.
Okay.
Alright, so here we're
Right
gonna
here?
skip it. Yeah. We're going to hop off our bikes, walk our bikes in.
This one is
Troup Square.
Troup Square. So what did you have to do to get a square named after you?
Some of them are named, most of them are named after historical war heroes. So, we have Nathaniel Greene, Green Square. Chippewa Square is named after the Battle of Chippewa that America won in Canada in 1814. Troup Square, I have no idea what Troup Square is named after, but it's all something significant in history. Most of them are going to be war heroes.
A battle with Canada?
Battle in Canada.
In Canada.
So it was called the Battle of Chippewa in 1814. America won.
Against the Indians?
Against the British.
British?
Yeah.
Oh, because in 1812,
In upstate
Canada.
New York?
Well, the British.
In Canada.
Okay, in
I
Canada.
don't know where.
But
in
was that
Canada.
after? It was like after.
It was before the Civil War. It was after
the War of
1776.
1812.
After the War of 1812. This was 1814.
Okay.
So I guess Canada still had British troops. I don't know the whole story about it. I just know that's why Chippewa was called that.
Okay.
But yeah, I know America won that battle, and that's
Little
the reason.
residual side skirmish.
Exactly. All right, guys. So welcome to our final stop of the tour today. Now, where we are standing in Troup Square. This is Savannah's smallest square, featuring the smallest monument in the entire city. Right past this monument, this little pink chapel over here. That is the Unitarian Church, Savannah's smallest church, built literally behind the Cathedral Basilica, the largest church. However, do not feel bad for this small church, for this church is more famous than that cathedral behind it. This church is more famous than any other church in the entire state of Georgia. This church has taken place in all of your lives every single year, over and over and over again. And that's because us locals do not call that church the Unitarian Church. We in fact call that church the Jingle Bell Church. A little plaque for Jingle Bells in front, because the song Jingle Bells was written by the music director of that church inside that church in the 1800s. Isn't that funny? A song about dashing through the snow was written right in Savannah that doesn't ever get any snow. Now, the reason behind that is because the man who wrote that song goes by the name James Pierpont. Now, James came to Savannah in the 1800s one year as a tourist. When he did, he ended up meeting the mayor's daughter. They fell in love, they got married, then James moves here, so suddenly he's Savanian and he has to get a job. So he does so by becoming the music director of that church. Now, James is originally from Boston, so he is well versed and experienced in snow for himself. So he's in that church one day and he wants to write a song specifically for the children here in Savannah. The children whom have never experienced sledding or even snow for that matter. He thought through his lyrics, the children here in Savannah could at least sing about sledding and dream about the experience from his song Jingle Bells. So he finishes writing Jingle Bells and then debuts it inside that church on Thanksgiving night to kick off the Christmas season for that year. So this also means it is James's fault that Christmas music starts Thanksgiving night and runs the entire season after that, all because of debuting Jingle Bells inside that church. Although nowadays it really begins at Halloween, which I hate. Again, all thanks to James debuting Jingle Bells in the church. Now, for the most part, it's a good story how that song came to light. The ending, pardon me, is slightly more tragic. That's because neither James, nor his wife, nor the Unitarian Church ever received any royalties from Jingle Bells. It is a public song to this day. Nobody owns it. If you ever hear it performed, they will only ever tell you who the performer was, never the original composer, James Pierpont. So as a result of him, his wife, and the church not ever receiving royalties, they remain our smallest house of worship still to this day, the Unitarian Church. So if you guys are ever on Jeopardy! You need to remember where Jingle Bells was written. Just remember our Unitarian Church, the smallest church in Savannah, just as long as you phrase it in the form of a question. Yes, that's my lamest joke. Nobody ever laughs. I love saying it every time though. It never gets laughed. Love it, without fail. Anyway, all right, one more thing about this spot before we head out. Right over there on the corner, that is a plant-based cafe called Fox and Fig. That is one of only 2 healthy restaurants in the entire city of Savannah. Like I said, it's hard to come by healthy eating here in the low country, so if you are looking for vegan or vegetarian cuisine, very limited options, and your best option is gonna be that plant-based cafe on the corner, Fox and Fig. All right, from here, like I said, this was our last stop. We are gonna bike back to the bike shop. As we bike back to the bike shop, we will be passing Savannah's smallest house. We are not gonna stop because there is not a lot to talk about it. It was built in 1845, 500 square feet. Today it is an Airbnb, but it looks like a house out of a children's storybook, so I love to point it out. So as we pass it, I'll point out the house to you guys, but the next stop we're making is gonna be back at the shop. All right, walking our bikes to the exit of the square this way, hopping on our bikes after we get out of the square, biking north.
You have to go up to that Jones Street.
They should have just put a replica of Forrest's bench there and let people take chips. And just keep replacing it.
Yeah, I need to line up all one. Like even at Mercer House, there's a YouTube, the sister of that guy, she does not want people to take a picture of the house, but I guess she like is touring to tour the house.
Sorry about William?
Yeah.
Yeah, his sister, so he died in that house over right here.
Okay.
Died in that house in 1990 after suffering a heart trauma. It was not a heart attack. That's what makes the story even spookier, because the room where he killed the kid,
Yeah.
he died in that same room.
Whoa.
Yeah, mysteriously.
Yeah. Wow.
So then after he passed away, he gave his whole fortune and that house back to his sister. His sister then opened it up as a house museum to what it is today.
Yeah, but she's like, you can see a video of her, and she's really liked the book. And she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he wasn't really like that.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, what does she know?
Very true. Yeah, I like to say I don't recommend that museum a lot because it's a very biased museum.
Oh.
Because, I mean, if you know the story, like, he was a murderer. She makes him appear to be like he was he did something good. She makes him think like he wasn't really a murderer, he was just doing the society a favor when he was not.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why I always talk about it, but I don't recommend it. I'm like, it's a very biased museum if you do it.
Okay. I thought there'd be something in
But it's a gorgeous house. It's a stunning house. And it's all like cast iron. The whole exterior of that house is cast iron. It's really well done.
Wow.
All right, and we're good. Yeah, Tybee Island. What about it? I don't really go there. I'm not a beach. I don't like the beaches that much.
Okay.
But I mean, they have really good seafood. I know their seafood restaurant is really good. But it's kind of small. So you have like the North Point, and it's not a boardwalk per se, but it's just like a row of bars and restaurants.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I would look into the seafood restaurant. They have a restaurant called Raw, which is really good sushi.
Raw?
Yeah. It's
Like cooking. Oh, it's like raw food?
Yeah, it's like sushi. It's a sushi place. Yeah. Really good stuff. But yeah, I mean, they have cute dolphin tours and stuff. I mean, I never go swimming out there because I hate that water.
Yeah.
But like I but like I worked on cruise ships for the last 10 years, so I'm used to like Caribbean water. So after coming here, I'm like, I'm not going as heavy like ever.
Here's the smallest house.
Where? Oh.
Yeah, smallest house.
Yeah.
That's where Kessler used to live.
The west end of the river.
Oh, there you go.
Alright guys, so we made it back safe and sound. I'm just gonna ask if you can walk your bikes into the shop. I'll take care of parking them. Take more water if you guys would like more water. But I hope you enjoyed the tour and enjoy the rest of your time in Savannah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.